Johnny P put me back in my place the other night. Sure, any Ireland we won, he got man of the match. So, you can't really throw that at him, like, if it wasn't from him, we wouldn't have got them, like, So, I said, yeah, I suppose, thanks, Johnny, thanks for bursting me bubble. I said,
the only influence I ever got, would you believe, as a manager was I travelled for 3 years or 4 years with Brother Vincent, and he had him that size, and I just watched what goes on in the dressing room, and I watched, what goes on the sideline, and that's how I learned. If I want to go and look at you hurling tomorrow morning, if I want to make a decision on you tomorrow morning, and you're playing a match, 20 minutes does me looking at you. Let's go, I'll get in my car and go home. I know what I've seen. I wouldn't stay there for an hour and a half watching this. I make up my mind straight away I want to do. But Brother Vincent was the only man I can put my finger on that helped me out. Yeah. He was my best friend at the time, and still is, like, Like a lot of the lads that were on that started off, we all started off together with a very successful underage team all the way up 14, 15. So it was really the natural progression. But I suppose, the credit has to go as well on top of that to Padjo Whelan. I remember him telling me that he'd be playing, first of all, after we won the minor that year. He told me that, listen, you'll be captain in Offaly next year in the minor. So he brought me on then onto the senior panel and onto the senior Offaly. So we were a light young team, and we had, Sir Kieran's were big, strong, physical. So, I mean, the scoreline at the end of it was 9-8. But it was tough going, but because we would have been pushed around a bit. But there was an awful lot of work rate gone into it, and it was one of the hallmarks of Birr right throughout. That this hooking and blocking, getting in, getting the ball and flicking it away. But, Kerwin got the 65 to win it in the last minute, and I think he told, I think Adrian Cahill was about to stand over, and he just told him, go there, I'll take this, and the rest is history. It was a big party for the next week, and I remember just maybe on the Thursday we were in the County Arms, and maybe 10 or 11 o'clock, or, and halfway through another night of it, and Paul Murphy lets us out, right, lads, we'll finish now tonight and we'll start with the Leinster Club Championship. And a big, huge laugh around us in, because none of us even realised about the Leinster Club Championship. And, that was our main focus, was to get the county championship. And really, I suppose in '91, the Leinster Club Championship was just an added bonus. But that was our mentality at the time. We were only focusing in on winning the county final.
One thing I do remember about that day is I knew it was a big panel, and felt there wouldn't be enough jerseys. So I had brought one of the lads' jerseys from the previous match, and you can imagine my shock in Carlow when we stopped on the way down, and Padjo said, we're thinking of playing you. So that was the start of it for me. I had never been in the dressing room even with these guys, and I always remember at half time, it was a small dressing room up in Aughrim, and I just remember thinking I couldn't see from one side or from the other with the smoke.
The steam from the shower. Steam.
I think the majority of the lads smoked.
Yeah, that was it, yeah. There was an awful lot of remarkable things about that year. Everybody knows obviously Offaly winning the All-Ireland in '94 and the way that last 5 minutes turned out. But again, it was amazing, and it's the same thing happened in the All-Ireland semi-final against Kilmallock. And it was set up for Ray Landy's second page in the history of Birr, where he arrived on with 10 minutes to go and scores 2-1. And we were 4 points down, and again pulls it out of the fire. I think the big one probably was the semi-final against Rhinos, and Mick Hogan or Damien Gagan was at full back, and they got roasted by Kieran Flannery. Kieran Flannery scored 3 goals off him, and another goal disallowed. We were down 10 points at half time or something like that, and into the dressing room at half time. I went on anyway, talking away anyway, and I was captain anyway, and had the last few words gone out on the field, And says, listen, we get our act together here. And then I just turned on the boys on the sideline, and you get your bloody act together there on the sideline, because the moves weren't being made. And next thing, there was a verbal argument going on between selectors. So there was a bit of a delay then going out onto the field in the second half. But we pulled it out of the fire, in the second half against Rhinos. So. But I suppose, for me, the 98 All Ireland was was very special. I suppose the fact that at this stage we were that bit older. We had, like the first All Ireland in 94, and the club experience, we were a bit young, and our first county final, young and naive and celebrating and think, that everything is great. But 98, you appreciate it an awful lot more. And then, of course, I suppose one of the big things about the 98 All Ireland, then you were playing Sarsfields, and Sarsfields had put back-to-back Club All Irelands, and you had big men on that. You had Joe Cooney on it, and you had several of the Galway players that that had played for Galway, and it was a big game. But we played exceptionally well that day as well, and that was very pleasing, and probably the best club win for myself, and yeah.
Yeah, and I remember leading up to the 2002 final, we were being described as an old team. I think 2002 for me was the day I thought when we were so focused. I remember walking out onto the field that day, and there was just, we weren't too wound up or anything. We were just super tuned in, and yeah, it was obviously a huge honour for us, and I know that there probably is that perception that they were great hurlers and it was easy, but I personally don't think it was easy. It's never easy to keep out the show on the road all the way to from a season that will start in May and finish the following March. You have different conditions, and marrying maybe county players being away for a lot of it, and the usual trying to join teams and families together and that. But I think certainly he wasn't afraid to throw in youthful players, and in terms of training, he had no problem giving the older guys maybe an easier run. But it certainly extended careers maybe and kept guys playing.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I mean, I suppose the thing that we were renowned for, you forgot that we were model professionals at that time.
I thought that went without saying.
Oh, right. The likes of Regan and these guys and Gagan and Hennessy and that. But the one that I suppose the most remarkable thing of it, whatever about the team itself, and he did bring in young lads and introduce them. It was well known that, you could hear the team tune of Coronation Street and be back home at the start of it and be back home for the team tune at the end of it. And training was that short, and that was actually a very good thing looking back on it. A lot of the county players are after going through, you're talking about playing, especially in 98 and 94, you're after going through an inter-county career and or inter-county training right throughout, and in those times we were playing in August. We were nearly awfully were playing in August. But and what part the heat, Rory, and how it'll affect your game. But the thing about it is that they were very short sessions, and that helped an awful lot for the lads like ourselves. That we weren't being dragging out for an hour and a half down, and it helped to keep us fresh. Now, as I said, Padgett was great at being fairly lenient. You could kind of disappear there for maybe a week or 2 weeks. It's kind of just taking a break from the game and then just arrive back and so listen, it's man management, I suppose.
Yeah, and his training was very much focused on speed work. Yeah. I'd say behind it was a view that if you were first to the ball, you had a good chance of winning a game, and that seemed to be the basis of it. But certainly he always had us fast.
He had, yeah, and the majority it is. The one thing about it is that there was always someone on the team that will stand up. You mightn't realise this, but I had a couple of bad days. So I had. But, Regan would stand up, or Sid would stand up, or Sid would have a bad day, and Gary Hannafy would pull up, or Declan, or, so there was always two or three, and this is where you go back and say the captain go up, take the toss, take the thing, but, it's your leadership on the field, and that as well marries into the manager's job as well,
Yeah, like Johnny spoke earlier about, when you're that bit older, maybe you enjoy that.